Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Cocktails and Rocktails with me, your most notorious groupie, Alice Rouse, author of We've Got Tonight, The Life and Times of Notorious Groupie, me, and these little ebooks here, which I have plans for these ebooks, you guys. I'm going to print a bunch out. Bunch I'm going to give away, some I'm going to sell. Because I don't have them in print on Amazon because you have to have at least 72 pages. But I do have plans for these little ebooks, you guys. I do have plans. I've been talking about doing a little makeup line. Plans for that. These are all going to be part of the giveaways. Ordered some really cool shot glasses that are custom made for the channel. And I have a new merch line coming for Kip Winger shirts. As requested, I'm working on it as we speak, you guys. Give me the best suggestions. So, again, I always love to start with how much I'm so happy, how much I love you guys and the community we have here, and the support, ideas, and love that you give me. Thank you guys so much. And don't forget, for everybody just tuning in, just finding me, all my merchandise, all my books, everything, cocktail or beer of the day, go down in that description, because you know how I like it when you go down and tickle about. So tickle those links and go check out my stuff, you guys. All right. And today, this is another episode, of course, for you guys, for two people in general, because they asked a lot of really good questions for my last Q&A. So, Ronnie, Cinnamon Girl, these are for you. And Ronnie, I hope you're doing great. I hope everything's going to go just fabulous for you. I see a lot of beautiful open doors coming your way. So, and we're going to start with Ronnie's question, because Ronnie had a lot of really great questions. But what we're actually going to start with is the cocktail of the day. One of my favorites, the Lev Lion. It's a nice little Czech beer. It's a dark beer. I love it, you guys. It's nice and light for when you want something a little more rich in flavor, but not as heavy as a stout. So everybody, grab your Levs, kick up your feet, and let's have a little cocktails and rocktails. Cheers, big ears. And of course, I will swallow this over Kip Winger any day, because this doesn't taste like burnt asparagus, toothpaste, and whatever the fuck sour that was. I still don't know to this day. I just can't place it. All right. So Ronnie has a few really great questions. Have any of the Salt Lake City Welcoming Committee ladies settled down and had children or married musicians? Yes, there have been marriages, not to musicians, there are children. Personally, and a lot of people give me crap about this because they don't know my truth, I personally can't have children because I'm Rh negative, endometriosis and ovarian cysts. So, unfortunately, that was not in my plans in this life, I guess. It wasn't my decision, but yes. The other girls, not all of us, but the other girls, there are children and marriages and stuff. There have been relationships and engagements with all of us, two musicians that we all know. So yes, there is happiness, love, and a lot of really awesome children that I love very, very much. And to see them grow up, it's amazing. And to see one of their daughters, Kristen's daughter, she just reminds me so much of Kristen when she was younger. And it's beautiful. So, all right. Have you met Buckethead? Are his eccentricities real or hype? No, I didn't meet Buckethead because he came around Guns N' Roses after my time with Axl. And maybe I met him when he didn't have all his makeup on and stuff in LA once or twice. But no, I've never met him and I haven't really paid attention to him. So I can't really talk much about his quirks. All right. And these are all still Ronnie's questions. All right. Which new bands or musicians would you like to meet present day? That's a really great question because honestly, I don't know. I've met a lot of newer bands. Like Post Malone lives in Salt Lake City. So I've met him on several occasions. I just didn't know it was Post Malone. And I'm not really like inspired or touched or tingled with a lot of the new music that's out today. And plus going out to meet new musicians just isn't my thing anymore. I like to hang out with my old friends, but going out to meet the new musicians, because the new groupies come with them, and the new groupies are kind of negative, and the dynamic between the groupies and the rock stars today is different. And I think it's partly both because of the bands and the groupies and how they act towards each other and social media and the disconnect. They don't connect like we used to. There's not that same road family like we used to have. So I don't have any interest in meeting any of the new bands. There's a lot of really good new bands. If you haven't heard The Who, the H-U, they are a Mongolian throat-singing metal band. They are badass. Would I want to meet them? Not really. But I really do like them. Okay. Who do you think is a musical genius? This one's easy as hell, Ronnie. John Entwistle. He is the most talented musician we will ever know in our lifetimes. That man he played a mouth harp. He played French horn. He played piano. He played guitar. He played bass. And let's clarify this about The Who, the actual WHO, with Roger Daltrey, that Shire-dwelling mouth jockey that I sued. John was the true sound of The Who, and he was just such an amazing musician, and his talent was something that we will never see in our lifetime again. You only get one musician like that in a lifetime. And as great as guitar gods as Jimi Hendrix or Eric Clapton or Jimmy Page, they're guitar gods. They don't have the same range with different instruments that John did. Like I said, John was the Who's sound. Pete, Keith Moon, Roger, they all played around watching John on stage, and John's just amazing bass. Like I said, Pete's a great guitarist, but he said something once that he was glad that John was dead because now he doesn't have to follow him on stage anymore. And that said a lot to me because Pete was kind of finally free out of the thumb of the musical genius that was John Entwistle. So he's definitely, in my eyes, the biggest musical genius we will know in our lifetimes. All right. What is the most bizarre thing you have seen, heard, or experienced? Oh, God. I guess I don't think of bizarre too much when it comes to rock and roll. Because what everybody finds bizarre was just a normal Thursday for me. But probably the most bizarre things that I've ever experienced, again, goes back to John Entwistle. Doesn't get more freaky than that. Waking up next to a dead man in full rigor and lividity, and the aftermath that I still deal with, that's probably the most bizarre thing I've ever seen. Now, I think a lot of people will expect me to, oh my God, everything that happened underneath the stage at Def Leppard and all the sluttiness and, stuff like that. The girl that asked for milk every time she got done with, But that was just all in a normal day in rock and roll. The man dying, that was not. So that to me was probably the most bizarre. Freakiest thing I've ever experienced. All right. Is there a potential for you to interview rocker friends, musicians on your YouTube channel, share old stories? Yeah, there is potential. The problem is I'm always afraid to ask. And the musicians like you guys found, Oris, my friend of 35 years, one of my closest people who knows me like nobody else. He's been on, and you guys heard the real nitty-gritty of Patreon, didn't you? Whew, told you it was going to get saucy over there. But yes, I do want to do more of this. And now that it's becoming summer and a lot more bands are going to be on tour, because we all know there's a lull, there's going to be a lot of really good concerts coming. So I want to actually get some people on the show. So far, the people that I've asked have all said yes. And that's awesome. So when they come through town, I'll have some surprises for you. And I'm excited about it because this is what I've kind of wanted the channel to do in the long run. So hopefully this is just the start of the long run. But it's, like I said, it's closer to summer and stuff when there's more concerts coming through. But Salt Lake City has one of the best music scenes you'll ever see. So there's always a killer concert. All right. Love and light to you, Ronnie. Okay. Now we are going to go to Cinnamon Girl, because she had a lot of really good questions about Dave Mustaine and James and a few things. So, hey, Cinnamon Girl, thank you for all the awesome questions. And let's see, basically, is there anything else about Dave Mustaine you could tell us? Like, what was he like aside from the saucy stuff you've told us? You know what Dave is like? Respectful, kind, sweet, funny, thoughtful. He's a total gentleman. And he's intelligent. I don't necessarily agree on all of his points of view, but as much as hard and as Dave Mustaine is in the public eye, he's one of the sweetest, nicest, most respectful, protective men I've ever known. And I have a total respect for him. Absolute total. Totally love him. So that's what he's actually like. And he is a great dad. And he is a good businessman. And he's been married to the same woman for a lot of years, so I respect that as them as a couple like that. I think that's awesome, like 30 some odd years. So that's what he's actually like. Do you still listen to Megadeth? Oh yeah, and I've heard their new music, and I agree. I think Dave is killing it. I think Dave still actually puts his heart and soul into his music. I think Megadeth is not the machine that Metallica has become, and is still genuine and still making really awesome music. Okay, let's grab a drink. All right, let's see. I think that I get the feeling. Yeah, and you said I get the feeling that under that gruff appearance he tries to give off, he's actually a big softie. I just confirmed that. You're Cinnamon Girl 100%. Absolutely. Like I said, he is a true gentleman. To the bone. All right. And yes, he was like that with me. He was very protective. He was very respectful. He was very sweet and kind, even to this day. And I just was backstage with a bunch of friends that were working for another band, and Megadeth was playing the night before the other band just a few years ago. And Dave was still sweet as ever. Still, that man hasn't changed. Okay. Since you started your channel, have you talked with any of the members of Metallica or with Dave Mustaine? I have. I'm not going to tell you who, though. Because I do like to keep certain aspects of my life private. I give so much of my life away that I just need to keep some things for myself. And yeah, I've talked to some of those members. Gonna get interesting too. That kind of goes back to, will I have anybody on my show? Maybe so. All right. Did James Hetfield seem to change after the death of Cliff Burton? Oh, fuck yeah. They all did. They all went down, and they've talked about this. They all went down into this alcoholic spiral that just, and not so much alcoholic, because like I said, during the Injustice, or maybe the Injustice, James was diagnosed with a bleeding ulcer, and he cut his drinking way down to 2, maybe 3 times a week, and 2 Sapporos or maybe 3 Coors Lights. That was all he would ever drink. No alcohol. Before the rehab, folks. So listen to that. Listen to this. And when you read my book, read between the lines when I talk about this. But yeah, they all did, because they didn't know how to deal with that kind of loss. Not just their band member and possibly their whole contracts and everything for the band, but because they lost one of their best friends, one of the people who geared Metallica to the way it was supposed to be. And like I said, they did not know how to deal with that. They didn't know how emotionally, mentally to mourn. So yeah, they changed, but we all go through changes in life and mourn. And when we lose somebody like that, we all change. So he did change, but he really changed once he got married, became a father and stuff. And now that he's living a different life, I'm starting to see more of the old James that I knew. And by that, I mean the less restricted James, the less constrained, the less judgmental James. Like I see the old James, the free spirit, and even maybe Metallica might write some real fucking music. I mean, don't get me wrong, their music's okay, but for me, Metallica music over the past decade or so has really lacked that passion, that brotherhood, that camaraderie that brought Metallica's early music and made it as amazing as it was. So yeah, of course he changed. And which rock star was your favorite aside from the ones you had actual relationships with? Good question. And you know, I'm going to say Elton John. I absolutely love Elton John. I think him and Bernie Taupin were like this amazing musical duo. Elton has gone through struggles and he's put on parades and these elaborate costumes, but then he's turned around and been exactly who he was and accepted his past and his future and everything. And I just think he's amazingly talented, and I have never seen him in concert, and I would love to. And he's, like I said, one of my favorite. I love it. He's just sharp. He's witty. He's kind. But he's going to tell you exactly what he's thinking. And sometimes it's not so pretty. And I love that. So he's one of my favorites. Have you been to any recent Metallica or Megadeth concerts? Not Metallica over the past 6 or so years. Megadeth, yeah, I have been. Because like I said, I still go hang out with my friends. So that usually involves their concerts. So yeah, like I said, I really, really like to watch Megadeth on stage and their music because the heart and soul is still within the whole band. And I've kind of technically slept with 3 guys out of Megadeth because James Lomenzo from White Lion is now in Megadeth again, and Junior and Dave, so yeah. So when I go to a Megadeth concert, it causes a little bit of a stir. It's fun. All right. Saw Metallica for the first time last summer. Oh, I'm glad you got to see Metallica, Cinema Girl, but I wish you could have seen them back in the day on the Injustice and the Master of Puppets and even the Black Tour, because there was still this way killer passion in the band that is gone. And there's still passion, like I said. Recently, I see it more and more out of James. Like, his passion for the band is coming back the way I used to see it back in the day. Because, you know, they all kind of, with their separate ways, became Mega Metallica. It became more of a business than they were a band. And so I'm glad you got to see him, but I wish you could have seen him a long time ago. So, and that brings us to the end of this Q&A. And thank you so much, Ronnie and Cinnamon Girl, for all the amazing questions. Everybody who leaves me the questions, keep leaving them. I'll do more and more Q&As as we go along. Because I love some of the questions you have, and they're always a good, woo. That's all. All right. So anyway, because they're always great questions, everybody has just such an amazing heart and soul here that I just love it when I get to do these Q&As for you. So thank you guys so much. And for everybody who's haunting that channel, seriously, get down and hit that subscribe, hit my bells. Because here in Cocktails and Rocktails, I've got a lot of cool stuff going on for my subscribers, my Patreon members, my members here. A lot of cool stuff. So hit the subscribe, hit my bells, and I'll see you next time here on Cocktails and Rocktails. Cheers, big ears.